The fight against cheaters is on. Aside from that, there's some updates to cover, new things to scroll through, so let's get to it right after Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is an automated service that lets you trade skins instantly for a fee. Sign up now and get up to $5 bonus. Simply add items from your inventory, then find skins that matches your current balance. Site offers live support 24/7. You can also top up your balance if you're missing a few dollars, and there's a lot of skins to choose from. Visit my link down below to get to Skins Monkey. Last time you wonderful folks were with me was after this update, and since then Valve has been rather busy with additional 3 more. They're all small but easy to cover, so let's get it done. Demos used to abruptly exit once you reach the end, and this update added a pause to make sure you don't leave the UI. Now sadly, this has just made it even worse since I can no longer use the playback feature, and previously you were at least thrown out, but nothing works. So Valve, you need to look at this. But outside of that, there is a banger in this update though. Fixed a bug where the game would stop taking keyboard input during the end of match map vote. This is amazing, especially for, well, my retake servers. It's been very hard to do a proper GG without the chat acting ignorant, and this update is related to that. Like, this was meant for us. Also, to visit my retake servers, check the video description. Then we get to the workshop section, which has a note saying added arms race game mode for workshop map submissions. This is interesting since it means 2 things. 1, that Valve are planning to add more arms race maps in the future, and 2, which is fairly obvious, but Valve are planning to add community-made maps in the future. Because today, as a reminder, there's 0 community maps in the base game. Now, I personally think Arms Race is kind of boring, but I can get behind people liking it. My wife is actually a fan of Arms Race, so I can see it from that perspective. But the irony is that Valve allowed you to upload maps with the Arms Race tag, but you couldn't play the map with the proper mode since they didn't include any option for it, as shown here by Lidicue. And a few updates ago, people including Chicago Ben suffered from game crashes by simply opening the scoreboard. Oof. That one is not fun. So the next update, we got a single note where it says fixed a crash related to the scoreboard, along with the fact that they also added Arms Race unofficially so that it's also playable. Now during this time, we saw VAC ban numbers increasing. This was after people started noticing the very effective yeetings of hackers and cheaters that were removed within seconds. CS Stats posted today that they've tracked over 26,000 bans since the ban number started increasing. But if you saw my last video on this, let me remind you that there are several players still banned, but their bans aren't public. One of the people from this video last week still hasn't received anything on their profile, so the stats that you see doesn't show the full picture of what's going on. Remember, this is a cat and mouse game where Valve needs to be smart and super annoying against cheaters and cheat developers. But it's refreshing to see that something is actually being done about it, and it's starting to give me a bit of hope for the game. Aside from that, completely unrelated, FMPone has shared some new screenshots of cache that he and supposedly Volcano is working on for CS2. Based on these screenshots, the work hasn't started yet on a site, so it's likely going to be a few more months before the entire map is finished. Moving on, a new bug has been discovered in the game thanks to Deduct CS. I hope that's correct. I believe it started off with this, which is just a goofy discovery. But it evolved into this, which is actually game-breaking. Doing this allows you to peek above certain heights without the model being seen, so basically the old Big Clan crouch bug is back, if you remember that. Luckily, it only works with the package equipped, so that's T-side only, and it's hard to find places where it's effective, except for maybe half wall on Banana. Good news is that it's easily reproducible, so Valve will likely fix it in a day or 2. Also, because it's reproducible, I strongly recommend not doing this online. And now we get to the last update, which again small, but I can still show some of the stuff that's changed. They fixed a visual bug where sniper rifle view models could be visible at the edge of the scope screen overlay. You can see the op barrel here on the first zoom, which must have triggered some people out there. Here's how it looks today. Next patch note is about Nuke. This vent refused to blow up from HEs for some reason. It never occurred to me that this was a bug. I'm just used to HEs being very situational, and I probably wouldn't have used it to break the vents. At least you could throw an HE into the vents to destroy them, so they are not completely HE proof. But today, as you can see, the bug is fixed. Last fix is for view models that would sometimes emit double shell effects, but I couldn't reproduce this. I only noticed that sometimes a shell wouldn't appear, but really who cares? Then we see minor performance improvements at the end. Speaking of, Frequency and Angel have just released their CS2 FPS benchmark map. This map, when you run it, will go through a scripted sequence on Dust 2 that lasts for about 2 minutes, and once it's finished, we'll print out the details at the end of the run. Also, thanks to Pogu, they're taking advantage of the new performance metrics that Valve released just just last week. This is a really cool map project, and it's also very useful. You can test different settings to see how much your performance changes, and you can also use it to compare updates and versions of the game. Now, in terms of this update for the minor performance improvements, there isn't a significant difference when looking at the summary. But that's the end of this video. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.